students, welcome you all to this session. So in the previous session we had discussed about the chapter called as ecosystem. Ecosystems, our surroundings or natural environment, you can say, is called ecosystem. In that we had seen different types of ecosystems: natural, artificial, aquatic, terrestrial, forest, desert, etc. and the case studies also, and also seen food chain, food webs, etc. and how organisms are interconnected or depending on each other for their food. Okay, now we are going to start a new chapter called as natural resources. As you already know about this topic, natural resources, right? You have studied in your lower classes also. What are natural resources? The resources available in nature, or the resources where there is no any human intervention, means naturally present in the environment, are called natural resources. Resources available in nature are called natural resources, like air, water, soil, forest, plants, animals are called natural resources. And that is, some are biotic and some are abiotic resources, you can see. Here you can classify them as biotic and abiotic or abiotic. You know meaning of biotic? The living components of ecosystem are called as biotic components, like plants, animals and microorganisms. And abiotic components are soil, water, air, temperature, humidity, pH. They are all called as abiotic components. So land, water, air, animals, mines, petroleum, they are all coming under natural resources. Means they are present in nature naturally, and they are very useful for us, for human mankind. You can say goods and services which nature is providing to us is a form of resource, is called as natural resources, or can say resources available in nature for humans or mankind is called as natural resources. Kannadadalli helbekanದ್ರೆ ನೈಸರ್ಗಿಕ ಸಂಪನ್ಮೂಲಗಳು. Means nature is providing us certain biotic and abiotic components which are very essential for the survival of humans or mankind, that we are going to study in this chapter. First we will see the non-renewable resources, the two types of resources, non-renewable and renewable resources. Two types, that is non-renewable resources. You already know the meaning of non-renewable resources. Yes, the resources which cannot be replenished or cannot be reused, means once it is used it cannot be again reused or can regain back or get it back, it is called as non-renewable resources, which cannot be regenerated. They are exhaustive, which cannot be regenerated. The resources which cannot be regenerated are called non-renewable resources. So before using these natural resources or non-renewable resources, we should be very careful and we should have some limit in the use of their non-renewable resources. Means because if you are continuously exploiting those resources, again those resources will not be available for the next generation, so they cannot be regenerated. Example: petroleum, coal, fossil fuels, etc. They are all the non-renewable resources. Petroleum, minerals, fuels like coal, etc. They are all non-renewable resources. They cannot be regenerated as the renewable resources. Okay. So they can be utilized till they are available in the nature. Till they are available, how long they are available, we can use those things, right? But up to a certain limit. When those resources are finished, then you cannot again regenerate those natural resources. So they are called as non-renewable resources. So you have to utilize them in a proper way or in a particular manner, otherwise they will not be remaining for the next generation or cannot be replaced by any other exhaust in the earth. So they have to utilize them very carefully. Second one, Renewable resources, as the name indicates, renewable. Now we have seen non-renewable. Now we see renewable resources. Renewable resources are the one that are ability to renew themselves, means they can be reused. They can be reused in the nature or by humans. They are called as renewable, or can be regenerated. Can be regenerated. Example, water. We can reuse water, right? Renewable resources like water, sunlight, air, etc. Sunlight, air can be renewed, are called as renewable resources. Water in the sense rainfall, we can store the water, we can use the water for different purposes. So they are examples of renewable and non-renewable resources. So oxygen also can be renewed by plants. So these are two types of renewable and non-renewable resources with examples. Next we'll go to one of the examples in detail about land resources. Land resources. Land is one of the most important and valuable natural resources. Once again, land is one of the most important and valuable natural resource. Land, as you know, land is very, very essential for growing of plants in agriculture, irrigation, for growth of plants, animals, survival of human beings. Everyone requires land. Okay, so land is one of the most important and valuable natural resource. Now, how much percent of land is used for agriculture? How much of land is barren? We'll see different types of land usage, you can say. So, land provides food, fodder, shelter to human beings. It also gives some you can say agricultural industries are depending on land. Agricultural industries, it gives us food, survival of animals, for humans or man, you can say, etc. So land is very, very essential for every organism to survive. Even you can say for industries, for construction of buildings, roads, etc. So everything that is done on the land resource. So land is one of the most important and valuable also. As you all know, nowadays there is a more cost of land. So if you want to purchase a land, it costs more, because land is very, very essential for every organism to construct house, you can say, industries, you can say, for agriculture, you can say. So land resources are the most valuable and important natural resource. Now we say the land usage in India is classified as land usage. Land usage in India is classified into different categories. Number one, first one is forest land. Number one, forest land, about 22.8% forest land. How much percent? 22.8% is under the forest. So you can say 22.8% is covering by forest land, that is Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Jammu and Kashmir, Tripura, Nagaland have dense forest. Places like Tripura, Nagaland, Jammu Kashmir, Andaman Nicobar have huge or dense forest. So how much percent of India is under forest land? 22.8%. Number two, cultivable land. Cultivable means it is used for growing crops. Cultivation or cultivable land. How much of land is used for cultivation? That is 48% of India that is under the land cultivation land or cultivable land, you can see. So land usage in India, forest land, it covers how much? 22.8%. Second, cultivable land, the land used for cultivation, 22.8%, that is 48%. Third one, non-agricultural land. Non-agricultural land. Non-agricultural land. Land is present there, but there is no any kind of agricultural activities. 14% you can say. 14% of land is covered under non-agriculture, like roads, dams, railways, irrigation, housing and industries. That is used only under 14% for housing, roads, railways, dams, etc. That is under called as non-agricultural land. The fifth one is called as barren land. Barren land. Barren land is the one, means earlier it was very useful for growing some crops, agricultural crops. ಕೃಷಿ ಸಲುವಾಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನು. ಬಟ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಾರಣಗಳಿಂದ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ದೇರ್ ಈಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫರ್ಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಸಾಯಿಲ್. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ completely become barren. Means nothing can grow there now. That is called as barren land. About 6.5%. How much? 6.5%. ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಬೆಳೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫರ್ಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಸಾಯಿಲ್. ಫಲವತ್ತತೆ ಹೋಗಿದೆ ಆ ಮಣ್ಣಿಂದು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಬೆಳೆಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸೂಟೇಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕಲ್ಟಿವೇಷನ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಎಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾರನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅನ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಕಲ್ಟಿವೇಬಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್. Unused cultivable land. Cultivation is there, but it is unused. That is 4.6%. Next comes meadows. Pastures, etc. That is 3.7%. Like in Gujarat, Sikkim, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, they are covering large amount of land under meadows. So this is the land usage in India, categorized into different types. So land usage in India: forest land 22.8%, cultivable land 48%, non-agricultural land means for building of roads, railways, dams, etc. Barren land means completely not suitable for cultivation. Unused cultivable land, that is 4.6%, and last one is the meadows, that is 3.7%. So last one is the meadows, that is about 3.7%. What are meadows? What do you mean by meadows? Meadows are the one or the areas you can say where there is more amount of grass is growing in those areas, is called as a meadows. So this is about the land usage in India: forest land, cultivable land, non-agricultural land, barren land, unused cultivable land, and meadows. And different percentage is given, how much of land is covered under different categories. Now we'll go with the next resource, that is a soil. Soil is a renewable resource. Next one, that is soil, a renewable resource. You already know the meaning of renewable, means which can be regenerated. It's called as a renewable resource. Soil is the topmost layer of the earth that is very useful for the growth of plants and some animals also. We generate through natural process gradually through the breaking of rocks. You can say huge rocks are there, due to which breaking down of rocks there is production of soil. The soil erosion is a natural phenomena. What do you mean soil erosion? But due to some natural calamities or heavy rainfall or flood, what happens? There is the loss of topmost layer of the soil. That is called as soil erosion. So soil is the topmost layer of earth. Topmost layer of the earth. It is very useful for growth of plants, and even some animals like earthworms, some insects also grow in soil. You know that. Okay, there are some animals that are growing in soil, and plants almost grow in soil. Now what is soil erosion? It is the loss of topmost layer of the soil. Loss means due to some heavy rainfall or flood, what happens? The topmost layer of the soil is being carried away in the water bodies. It takes place to atmospheric pressure and depends on climatic conditions also. So about 200 to 1000 years are required for the formation of soil. How many years? 200 to 1000 years are required for the formation of soil. For the formation of soil. So we have to maintain the quality of the soil to protect it from erosion, and it is placed through, the formation takes place through atmosphere pressure. The formation of soil takes place through atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. So we have to very carefully protect our soil from being polluted, as a soil pollution also. So feeding zone for plants and insects, and up to 15 to 20 centimeter on the topmost layer of the soil, that is called as feeding zone. Feeding zone means the more number of plants and animals can grow. That is called as a feeding zone of plants and animals. Up to 15 to 20 centimeter upper layer of the soil is called as feeding zone. 15 to 20 centimeter layer, that is called as the feeding zone of plants and animals. Animals especially, that is called as insects, you can see. As you know, insects come under animals only. Invertebrates under phylum Arthropoda, you know that. Okay. Next we'll go to land use change. Land usage change, you can say. Now, as you know, land is very important natural resource. Soil is also very important natural resource, and land use varies, depends from time to time depending on the climatic changes also. And soil is used for growing of crops, agriculture, for human activities, and some technological changes are also taking place. Use of land at global level. Now see, this you have seen in India. What is the usage? How much is the usage of land in our country? In India, you can say, that is forest, cultivable, non-agriculture, how much percentage our land is being used. Now we see the use of land at global level, means throughout the world or globe, you can say how much percent of land is being used. So we are discussing about land usage at global level, means previously I have seen about the land resources usage in India. We had seen the forest land covering about 22.8%. Cultivable land, that is 48%, non-agricultural land 14%, barren land 6.5%, unused cultivable land, that is 4.6%, and meadows, that is 3.7%. Meadows are the areas where grasses are grown. Grasses usually, herbs are grown. Now we will see the land usage at global level, throughout the globe or throughout the world, how much percentage of land is used in different categories. That is 49% is covered under tundra. Under tundra, you can say some grasslands, tropical evergreen forest, rainforest are being used under 49%. Cultivation land or cultivable land, that is throughout the globe, is 33.6%. Next one, regular cultivation land. Now what is the difference between cultivation and regular cultivation? Cultivation means that is during particular time, that is land is used for cultivation, growing of crops. Regular cultivation means throughout the year the land is used for cultivation, that is 7.6%. Meadow grasses, you already seen meadow grasses. Here it is 14.9, that is at the national level, and this is the globe level. The next, forest wild is 149.5%, and others, that is 91.1%. Others means the land is used for railways, roads, dams, bridges, or construction of houses, buildings, etc. So how much percent is under cultivation and how much percent of land is used for other human activities, that we have seen now. Next we will go to very important, that is the land degradation. What do you mean land degradation? Nowadays the land is being used to exploit for different reasons. Degradation means there is deforestation, cutting down of trees, you can say. The people are, for human activities, the people are cutting down the trees for growing of buildings, for industries, etc. So land degradation. Due to land degradation, the soil fertility decreases. Soil fertility decreases. If soil fertility decreases, then there is no growth of plants, etc. So National Development Board has done so many projects even in India or even Karnataka also, especially in Karnataka. to protect our land degradation. Means here there is, you can say, geographical isolation. You can say the land is being divided into different categories, and that categories are used for some human consumption or some human activities for qualitative production. Top agenda for global food security. Global food security. As you know, our India country's population is increasing. Yes, we are second largest in the world under population. So, for the global food security, for demand, so meeting the needs of the demand like food, shelter, etc., we have to use more amount of land. If there is land availability is less, if land is becoming degraded, how will the crops are grown? So, land degradation should be prevented, and soil fertility also should be increased by growth of some good quality plants. And the most important is the rate of soil erosion. Nowadays the rate of soil erosion is very more. So to maintain the quality of soil quality, because all plants cannot grow in different soil conditions. So soil pH, water holding capacity of the soil should be very necessary, very important for growth of plants. Next, industrialization. As I told you, what are the reasons for this land degradation? One is industrialization, then comes population growth, then next one is soil erosion. So these are all some factors which are very essential for the growth of land. So some of the reasons of this land degradation are, we'll see now one by one. Land degradation, how the land degradation occurs by different causes. Number one is industrialization. Very important. First one is industrialization. If you compare today's generation to the past or older generation, there were no much industries during olden days, but nowadays you can see technology is increasing, people are constructing more and more number of industries. But to build the industries, to construct the industries, factories, we require land. So most of the land the people are using for industrialization, like so many industries are there for domestic purposes, etc. Next, coming to population growth. As I already told you, the most or the main important reason for all these things is population. Population, sum total of species living in a particular geographical area forms a population. As the population increases, everything the demand increases for food, shelter, accommodation you can say, or employment you can say, and as employment is increasing, people are going for industrialization. So main reason for this all degradation is because of the population growth. So you have to control the population of the country. Deforestation. Deforestation is the cutting down of trees. Deforestation or reforestation you can say. Deforestation, cutting down of trees. So most of the forest areas, so forest land is covering how much percent? 22.8%. And again among that, people are cutting down the trees, because as you know, the most important forest, that is Amazon forest, that is being cut. The trees are being cut, the land is made empty for construction of industries and buildings. So most important, that is population growth and deforestation, cutting down of the trees for growth of buildings. Overgrazing also leads to degradation of land. Overgrazing. Okay. Grazing means, you know, the grazing animals are there, they are eating the grass, etc. Now if they are overgrazing, then what happens? The grass, the species of grass gradually decreases, because the fertility of soil decreases, the growth of grass also decreases. So soil erosion, the process of detachment and transportation of the topmost layer of the soil is called as soil erosion. And due to all these factors, the land is being degraded. That is industrialization, population growth, deforestation and overgrazing, and with varies percentage. First is water erosion. What is water erosion? As you know, water is very essential for every individual or every organism you can say. Biotic components require water to perform their activities in life. So it is also called as liquid of life. Water erosion, the incent or heavy rain or the upper layer of soil particles is being carried away by water through heavy rainfall is called water erosion. So heavy rainfall, as we have seen in evergreen forest in previous chapter, there is heavy rainfall, so there dense forest is there, thick forest is there, and large trees are grown, canopy is formed because of heavy rainfall. But in desert condition, the rainfall is very less and there is high rate of evaporation. So heavy rainfall, that is called as water erosion. Wind erosion, second one, wind erosion. So in desert conditions, we had seen in desert ecosystem, there is lot of wind in the sand dunes which increases the temperature, forming new channels. Due to wind carries soil particles from one place to another. As there is lot of wind blowing, the soil particles are carried from one place to another place, is called wind erosion. Third one is stream bank erosion. Stream bank, as there is flood condition, etc., that is called a stream bank. Water current is moving. Stream erosion. And the fourth one is the overgrazing and deforestation. Already we have discussed here overgrazing and deforestation, due to which the complete fertility of soil is lost. Overgrazing and deforestation are some of the reasons of soil erosion, because plants, by help of photosynthesis, they prepare their own food and they release carbon dioxide, and they take in carbon dioxide and give out oxygen. So we require oxygen, biotic components we require oxygen for performing different activities. So oxygen also one of the most important natural resource in the environment. What are the following preventive measures? So to protect the soil from direct impact of raindrops, see, directly the rainfall is falling, heavy rainfall is there, then the topmost layer is completely eroded in the water bodies. That you can prevent that from heavy or direct rainfall. Decreasing the speed of surface runoff water. Now see, if the water is running, the speed should be decreased. If there is high speed, then the topmost layer is carried away by the heavy rainfall or water current. Reducing the velocity of wind. See, if the wind is there, the soil particles are carried away to different place, from one place to another place. That also the wind, the speed of the wind, or the velocity of the wind should be decreased. So the topmost layer is persistent in the land. Then coming to increasing moisture and organic content of land. Increasing moisture and the humidity of the soil should be maintained, and organic content of land, that is called as organic content of land should be maintained. So these are all the factors by which the following protective measures taken to prevent the soil or the loss of soil. So now we will discuss about the topic called as desertification. Desertification is defined as the degradation of ecosystem. Already in previous chapter we had seen the desert ecosystem. It is the degradation of ecosystem. Ecosystem, there is environment, living components, both biotic and abiotic components are living, interacting, different types of ecosystem, aquatic, terrestrial, under again aquatic, freshwater, marine water. So it is full of resources, you can say, it's called an ecosystem. But again in that there are different types of ecosystem. We are saying desert ecosystem. Desertification is the degradation, means whatever the resources are present on the land, available on land, they go on degrading day by day, and that land becomes completely barren. It forms a desert. How it is formed? By heavy rainfall, floods, earthquakes, or some natural calamities like volcanoes, due to soil erosion, etc. Means to human activities. Some are human activities like deforestation, etc. Some are human activities and some are natural calamities, due to which the land becomes completely barren, and that forms the desert, and formation of desert or degradation of ecosystem is called as desertification. So the moderate desertification falls within 10 to 25%. 10 to 25% of land is already under deserts. 10 to 25% of land has already become degraded due to human activities or some natural calamities also you can see. The rainfall, what about the desert? Rainfall in desert. Rainfall is very less because there is scarcity of water. Rainfall is very less. Rainfall is very less. But the evaporation, rate of evaporation is very high. Evaporation ಏನು ಆವಿ ಆಗೋದು. ಸೊ ಮಳೆ ತುಂಬ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಡೆಸರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ವಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಡೆಸರ್ಟ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ರೈನ್ಫಾಲ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಲೆಸ್. High temperature about exceeds 40 degree also temperature exceeds, and evaporation is very high. The less temperature, no water, there is scarcity of water, and evaporation rate is very high. Then how can the animals and plants can survive there? But yet some plants and animals can survive in those conditions also, but not compared to terrestrial ecosystems. As a result, it bears adverse impact on vegetation. It bears a very adverse impact you can say. Adverse impact on vegetation mainly. Vegetation means the growing of crops. ಬೆಳೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ ನಾಶ ಆಗಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. It affects mainly on the vegetation, plants, animals and even human beings. Can we live or stay in the deserts? No, we cannot survive there because due to high temperature and scarcity of water, it affects humans, plants, animals, etc. which cannot survive. But there are some exceptions where some plants and animals can survive there in desert conditions. ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ಸಸ್ಯಗಳು ಬೆಳೀತವೆ. ಬಟ್ ಜನರಲಿ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟೇಕ್ anyone cannot survive there. It affects the biological potential of living organisms. It affects our biological potential. Biological potential is affected of any organism can say. The biological potential of organism is adversely affected. Metabolism is affected, and it affects the fertility of soil, and so that soil is not suitable for cultivation. It is suitable, but soil is very good quality, but there is scarcity of water. If there is no water, then there is no plant growth. So no growth completely gradually decreases. So degradation or desertification is a very recently current issues which should be prevented. Salinity is there, becomes barren, the land becomes completely barren, there is no water resource you can say, there is no availability of water, there is no availability of any plants, animals, humans, very difficult to survive for any organism. As you have seen the example of a Thar desert in previous session. Thar desert is found in the Rajasthan extending up to Pakistan, and we are seeing high rainfall less rainfall but high evaporation. Less rainfall, high rate of evaporation, but still some organisms are staying there, and some minerals are also being found in those Thar deserts. So different types of deserts are there in different countries like Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia you can say, in Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, Sudan is completely under land degradation, and it is converting into deserts. Those countries are under land degradation, and they are leading to finally desertification. So different parts of the world, different countries in our world are under economically can say or desertification or land degradation. All about the desertification means the ecosystem is being degradation of ecosystem into desertification by human activities you can say or natural calamities. This is about the desertification. So what we have discussed today in this chapter, today's session we have discussed about the chapter called as natural resources. We have still started today natural resources. So resources available in nature of a human mankind where there is no human intervention, but it is for humans only, but it is present naturally, is called natural resources. The two types of resources, renewable and non-renewable resources. With example we have seen, when we have seen the land usage. Land is one of the most important, land resource is one of the most important resource, very important and valuable resource is the land, and we are seeing the land usage in India as well as at the global level, and about soil erosion, types of erosions, and then coming to desertification where there is degradation of ecosystem, and the desertification occurs by degradation of ecosystem. Thank you.